What is up, guys? This is Maples with the Super Nerdy Bros, and today I just wanted to do like a quick kind of fun little video regarding Dungeons and Dragons. So I recently got into this game. I've been playing it on and off from it like a little over a year, but I'm still very much a beginner. I've only been like a handful of campaigns. Most of them have been very short or little one-shots in Pathfinder or something, so my exposure to the game as a whole has been very limited, but I know a little bit. But one of the things that I ran into when I first started, and kind of in RPGs in general, is I often have a hard time deciding what I want to play. Like, so many different things appeal to me. And I know a lot of people who have that issue. Like, so many different things can kind of appeal to you, and you kind of get in this almost like this paralysis of like too many options. You have too many choices, and you're just overwhelmed. You're like, I don't know what to pick. So one thing that I kind of started doing was looking online, looking at like what this class is, what this whatever, and what I found was on the official Wizards of the Coast website, so wizards.com, and I'm going to put a link to this in the description. There is a quiz that they have put up that is basically a what class are you for Dungeons and Dragons. Now, of course, it's a quiz. It's not psychic. It's not going to be able to just like pinpoint exactly what you should play, and obviously play what you like. But for people who maybe are kind of like struggling to have a little bit of a direction, these can sometimes be pretty good, and I felt like it may not always be what you think. So I thought it'd be fun to just go through this live with you guys on video and kind of see like how the results turn out. Now, I want to kind of put a little bit of backstory here. My main sort of like character class that I really liked for the longest time was Paladin. In the original World of Warcraft, ever since Vanilla WoW, I played a Paladin. And then in like games like Elder Scrolls, in RPGs like that, I tended to create like those Mystic Knight, heavy armored, battle mage, spell sword, healing type of characters. So that's tended to be what I gravitated towards. And it was only like in kind of recent years that I've started wanting to branch out more. But there was obviously that heavy bias with me towards those classes. And I always had issues with like feeling comfortable playing those squishier characters. It was just very hard for me to kind of connect to them. So that was kind of the background that I had going into this quiz, and I want to see whether that's something that maybe this quiz kind of picks up on, or if it just has me going in a completely different direction. So thought it would be fun. If you guys would like to see more stuff like this, you know, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about content like this, because there are a lot of there's this one quiz in particular, and I may put a link to it in the description as well. It's on easydamus.com. It is 140 questions, and they are very personal questions. Like, I thought about doing them for this video, but like some of the questions are very personal and really like make you think and be very introspective, and that's a lot to do live on camera. So we might do something like that, but we'll see if there's enough interest. So without any further rambling, we're going to go ahead, jump over into the quiz. Now, keep in mind, like I said, my exposure to D&D is somewhat of a noob. I've played a little bit of 5e, a handful of Pathfinder one-shots, so as far as like a lot of the lore and stuff, I'm not going to be as well versed. So for some of these, I may kind of just have to guess or look up what I'm looking at to kind of be able to make a reasonable decision. So let's go ahead and switch over to the quiz, and we're going to zoom in a bit so you guys can kind of read the questions a little bit better. And so we might, let's make me smaller. Let's get this down here out of the way, because I want you guys to actually be able to like read the questions here. So let's go ahead and start. So, which god am I most likely to worship, or at least respect, given their various teachings? So we have Bahamut, or Bahamut, or however they pronounce it, who teaches to uphold the highest ideals of honor and justice, be constantly vigilant against evil, and oppose it on all fronts. So already, like, I can kind of see like the Bahamut's very much like the Paladin, like, you know, honor and for justice. Like, just reminds me of the warriors in Guild Wars, always running around like, for great justice. Like, even though why they gave that to warriors and not guardians, I have no idea. The other one, I'm gonna butcher this. Ioun, Laun. I don't know if that's supposed to be a capital I, is what I would assume. not a capital L. So Ion or something like that teaches the perfection of your mind and accumulate, preserve, and distribute knowledge. So it's gonna be your Meiji types. Makes sense. You have Cord, who teaches to be strong, brave, and scorn cowardice in any form. And I feel that. That's very much like a warrior barbarian type, I would think. And then Melora teaches to protect the wild places of the world, oppose the rampant spread of cities and empires, and hunt abominations of nature. Now, I wonder what class this is trying to gear you guys towards. I can't think of any classes that are like very nature based. Anyway, I personally feel like, I know that, like I said, the paladin thing makes me kind of want to lean towards Bahamut, and I just because I love the character, like the summon in Final Fantasy, but I also really like the Cord thing, because I'm very much all about trying to overcome your fears and be very upfront and trying to always push forward and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I am like the perfect, most justice person ever. So I think for this quiz we're gonna go with Cord. I think that's just more realistic here. Okay, you've helped defeat the Elder Dragon, and now it's time to pick through his treasure hoard. On my turn, I'd select the following items. So we got something with some magic power, either like a wand, a staff, or a totem, a magical sword or a bow, so just like an enchanted item, an item that will help us achieve our goals, so like a campsite, a map, some kind of like utility thing, or a good shield and a suit of armor. So this one's kind of tricky because like they all sound so good. I'm gonna be like real. The third option is not that appealing. Like, yes, are those like items super useful? Yes, but I just fought a huge, like an elder dragon. I want something nicer than a campsite. Okay, I want something fancy and strong, and I think I would have to go with like a magical sword or a magical bow. Like, yes, the suit of armor and the shield are nice, but I can pay a blacksmith to make a crazy, like, there are such good like blacksmiths, you can get crazy good armor, but like not your everyday blacksmith is not going to make you a magical sword. So I think that is the move there, at least for me. Okay, given the choice, I would prefer to use the following powers. Now, this is where my lack of D&D knowledge is going to bite me in the ass, because I don't know what these are. So we have Form of the Displacer Beast, Even Hand of Justice, Your Delectable Pain, Sleep, Time Stop, and Bigsby's Grasping Hands, World Serpent Rage, Prismatic Explosion, Unstoppable Arrows, or Cure Serious Wounds, Hold the Line, Panacea. Now, I'm going to say, is it Panacea or a Panacea? I can remember. But anyway, I'm going to say that this one is very much the Paladin, the Healer, the Cleric. Obviously, these three, I don't need to know what they are. Like, this is obviously heal. This is some kind of status cure, because I know what that word means. So I know it's some kind of like cure ailment. And Hold the Line just sounds like a defensive buff or whatever. So stop, time stop. This sounds like some magey spells, like you're like a time mage, like some kind of like CC abilities here, some heavy CC spells. This right here, I want to say maybe these are like attacking spells, like World Serpent Rage, just to be like the World Serpent. You're talking about Jormungandr. That just does sound very much like a Viking like ranger thing, especially with unstoppable arrows. So I feel like it's maybe like a very aggressive, kind of dexterous, in your face type of thing. And then we have Displacer Beast, Even Hand of Justice, Delectable Pain. This one kind of throws me off, because Even Hand of Justice makes it sound a bit like a paladin kind of deal, right? But then Delectable Pain, no, that's like a warlock. 100%, that's got to be like a warlock, right? Like using some kind of like torment spells. And then Displacer Beast sounds like that would be like a druid. So I honestly feel like in a group setting, I would prefer either 3 or 4. 4 if my group does not have a healer, because someone needs those abilities. And it's like it's useful for yourself. Like being able to cure my own ailments and heal myself makes me very self-sufficient, and I don't have to worry about everyone else. So I kind of like that. I do like the idea of like the World Serpent's Rage. We're going to go with Cure Serious Wounds here, because I feel like for a soul, like if it's a character where it's going to depend entirely on who I have in the party. So, but I think in general, that's not a bad pick. Okay, so we have the following powers: Prismatic Storm, Hideous Laughter, Fireball. I think I know what Fireball is. Wrath of the Divine, Oath of the Inevitable Blade, and God Strike. Insect Plague, Call Lightning Storm, Avalanche Strike, or Supremacy of Steel, Confounding Arrows, and Perfect Strike. So, okay, so the third one, or the fourth one very much sounds like a ranger slash fighter. Your melee, so, your Perfect Strike, your Confounding Arrows, something that's going to be very aggressive. Insect Plague, Lightning Storm, Avalanche Strike, kind of like a shamanistic. That's what I'm thinking. Shaman, so druid maybe. I don't know if there is like a shaman in D&D. And again, I don't know if this is only applying to like 2E, 5E, like, because I only know 5E, and I barely know it. Wrath of the Divine, Oath, and God Strike, that's very much a paladin, obviously. And then Prismatic Storm is the Hideous Laughter, Fireball. It's very much going to be a mage. I honestly kind of like this. I like the idea of having some aggression, especially if I've taken a healing slot in the previous one. Having something like this could be pretty cool. I know that like these also look like they could be very like in your face, but the cool thing about this, the Confounding Arrows, is I like the idea of being able to just like plink from a safe distance. So we're gonna go for the next one. I derive my power from the energies of the very gods through prayer and litany, the magic that permeates the cosmos, my own training and dedication, or the natural world and spirits. I'm gonna go with 3 here because I'm very much a proponent of doing the work, of training yourself, making yourself better. So I feel like that's where I would go with it. Obviously, if you live in a world where the gods are actually interacting with people, that may be sort of the better option, because you're just like, hey, I know for a fact I'm, whatever, but or magic that permeates the cosmos. But I think ultimately you still have to train, you still have to be dedicated. You're dedicated to the gods, or you're training in magic. So I think that is the play there. Okay, after my long, glorious, and illustrious career, how will historians describe my final place in the world? So either my God chose me to be her hand of justice, to correct the failings in her servants and ensure her temple's sanctity, or I have become the embodiment of nature's power, a mighty spirit veiled in living flesh. That one sounds kind of like very much druidy, but also like kind of cool. Like it makes me think of like Malfurion from World of Warcraft, just like a mighty forest spirit. Like you don't screw with Malfurion, you just don't, unless we're talking about Legion era for some reason. But let's not worry about that. I don't know why he felt so weak in that expansion. History is written by the victorious. Who now, living, can say how I got where I am? A legend among the military leaders of history. So, it's a good point. It's very realistic, because if you just kill all your enemies, then you get to decide how your story goes, I guess. That's the way of saying it. Let's see. My lifelong perusal of Grimoires, Librams, tomes, and spellbooks finally revealed the foundation of reality to me, that spells are each a portion of a larger truth. So, pretty cool. I like reading, and I do love a good book. I don't know if I would want that to be my legacy. Like, yeah, I'm really good at reading. I don't know if I would want that to be my legacy. Again, this one's it's a little tricky, because some of these are so on the nose that I can tell what they're going to be. So it's hard for me to like be objective and be like, oh yeah, like this is 100% what I would do, because I was like, I know what answer I might get from this. I think we're going to go with the history one though, because I don't think that I would be like, I do love hiking and stuff, but I am not the embodiment of nature's power. Like, let's just be real here. And then as far as the Librams and stuff, I love reading, but again, I don't think that's what I want to be known for. So we'll kind of go with that. And then, what is best in your life, aside from crushing your enemies? To use my strength and willpower to vanquish my enemies, to destroy those that threaten the balance of nature, to study the use of magical power, or to heal, protect, and smite the enemies of my gods. So this one's a little tricky, because I don't necessarily like that it's all just about vanquishing somewhat. So I like that it, like this one, the second one at least talks about only destroying those that threaten the balance of nature. But like for me, it would mostly be like, I want to just focus on, like, I would want my goal in life to be like doing what's right as best I can, so it's like if someone's doing wrong, punish them or whatever, but don't go around like looking for shit. But I don't necessarily know that I would want it to be associated with just what the gods felt were more about like personal beliefs. So I don't know. That's maybe this one, maybe the first one. I kind of feel like that's more of a neutral one, so we'll go with 1 here. But I very easily could see me going with 4 as well, maybe 2, if we're talking, because like if we're talking about like protecting the environment a little bit, I do, very much dislike how a lot of that stuff is going on in today's world anyway. So I could very much see that, but I think we'll stick with the 1 here. All right, it's the final showdown in the adventure. We're up against Sinruth and his remaining band of hobgoblins. To best help my party in this fight, my powers include a bit of trickery, so very much a rogue situation, weakening, confusing, and shifting around hobgoblins. Serving as a roadblock, make sure that they don't move past or ignore you, not without your permission. Improved teamwork, better targeting hobgoblins for the party to concentrate against, and concentrated firepower, using whatever works best to take down a hobgoblin, preferably Sinruth himself the quickest. I believe 3 or 4 is your best bet. I think that in a fight, if you're in those kind of situations, your best bet is to either focus fire and get something down quick, or to work together to mitigate your losses. So I feel like improved teamwork maybe the best bet here, but I feel like 3 and 4 are somewhat the same thing, like better targeting hobgoblins to concentrate against, and then concentrated firepower. So I feel like maybe these 2 are a little interchangeable here, so we'll kind of go with 4 and see what we get. Okay, so stop me if you've heard this one. A group of trolls walk into a bar and start eating the patrons. When battle erupts, my preferred fighting style is to either help out the group, making sure that they receive healing and inspiration that they need to keep going, stand at the front and make sure that none of the trolls get past you to attack the rest of the party members, take on all comers. The more trolls to battle at once, the better, or find a key target, single him out, and take him down. I kind of like this one. I like the idea, like, to a degree, 2 and 4. Like, I like kind of being in the front. And I do also kind of like the 1 a little bit too, like especially if I do pick up cure wounds, like being able to heal the party. So like I think any of these would be good, maybe not 3, but I think as a group the best bet is to find something, single it out, take it down, and mitigate what the threats are. So I think that's probably like a really good option there. Okay, which is more important, good offense or a good defense? So we give like offense, the more widespread the better. Strategic offense, defense with a good offense when they're in your fight, or whatever works, so long as the party wins in the end. I don't. This feels like kind of an open-ended question, maybe a little bit. Like there are some subtle differences here, but like defense, but like a good offense would also be whatever works. So I kind of feel like whatever works. I'm not being terribly picky about this. Like I tend to like the idea of being more counter oriented than anything. Like. So maybe defense, but having a good offense when it's in your fight. One of these 2, 3 or 4. I could go either way here, but let's say 4, just for the sake of that. And then once I've selected my chosen foe, the best way to take him down is either up close, with ranged weapons being okay, but like rather be like right up on there, or from a distance. Why rush in with a sword when a bow works just as well? I think in games I prefer to be up close. I like distance attacks. Sure, they're all good and fine, but ultimately I prefer to be in the thick of things, being able to like actually coordinate with teammates and things like that. I don't necessarily. I like this being able to fight from distance somewhat, but I feel like that's going to be my thing. All right, so we got our class, and our class is the rogue, and I am very much shocked by this. Okay, so your class is rogue. You look surprised to see me. I am very surprised to see you. I did not. So like I said, I always get the paladin things, and I even chose. I get that some of the decisions, like, oh, I want to fight in the middle, like up close. I want to do this. I want a single target. Like, some of that, I guess, would lean towards it, but I usually do not play stealthy characters. Like in Skyrim. Or not Skyrim, Oblivion, one of the favorite things that I used to do would be, go around sneaking, taking things out, but never like on a main playthrough. So it's very interesting that I would get rogue, but let's read this and kind of see what it has to say. We're going to zoom in a little bit here so you guys can also read this. Rogues are cunning and elusive adversaries. They slip into and out of shadows on a whim, pass anywhere from across the battlefield without fear of reprisal, and appear suddenly only to drive home a lethal blade. So that does sound cool. I mean, I like the quickness, and I guess, you know, in MOBAs I do like playing junglers. I don't know if that's like a 1-to-1 scale or anything, but I do like that quick in and out, like get in, you know, get your shots in and then, you know, not get hit back. So maybe. As a rogue, you might face others' preconceptions regarding your motivations, but your nature is your own to mold. You could be an agent fresh from a deposed king's shattered intelligence network, an accused criminal on the lam seeking to clear your name, a wiry performer whose goals transcend the theatrical stage, a kid trying to turn around your hard luck story, or a daredevil thrill seeker who can't get enough of the adrenaline rush of conflict. Or perhaps you're merely in it for the gold. Yeah, fair. I do like the idea that rogues would be kind of robust. You can kind of pick and choose, like either, yeah, I am totally chaotic evil or chaotic neutral, or just be like, no, I'm a little chaotic good. Like I mean well, I just don't do it in the most morally strict methods. Alright, with a blade up your sleeve and a concealing cloak across your shoulders, you stride forth, eyes alight with anticipation. What worldly wonders and rewards are yours for the taking? So, that's very interesting. I honestly did not expect to get rogue of all classes. Like I said, I went into this like I tend towards paladins, and one of the things about these quizzes is sometimes it's a little obvious what you're gonna get. Sometimes not. I think sometimes like maybe some of the like the prismatic like storm, the arrow storm and everything that I picked may have leaned towards this a little bit, and that's me not knowing what the spells are and just judging by the names. But I do think to a degree there may be some of that where I can tell like, oh, this particular question has to do with holy magic. It's a paladin. So do I pick it leaning into my own preconceptions, or do I intentionally not pick it so that I'm not? So there is that little bit. But overall, fun little quiz. You know, let us know in the comments below if you take this quiz, what do you guys get? And if you do take this quiz, did you get the class that you thought you would get? Because who knows, maybe I'll try Rogue out in my next campaign and see if it's something I enjoy. Maybe I'll get to be the crazy chaotic rogue stirring up trouble in my next 5e campaign. But that's all we have for today, guys. I really appreciate you hanging out with us, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. If you want to see more stuff like this, let us know, and we will see you on the next video.